Sudan, Somalia, those are the countries with very few tribes. But in Kenya, we have 45 tribes. If for any reason that we turn against each other, I'm telling you, we'll finish each other within a week or even less. But may God forbid that, Mr. Speaker, and that is the reason why we should actually congratulate and be happy for whatever has happened. And the head of state actually agreed to listen to us and also to the youths of this country, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, from the happenings, I believe we must do a lot of consultation whenever we make a decision. Because if we don't consult each other, if we make decisions unilaterally without consulting, then we'll see what happens from what happened on Tuesday and the years to come, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, those youths were actually on the road as a result of frustration, depression. They are our kids, Mr. Speaker. Most of them, especially in our counties, you will see they are into drugs. Mr. Speaker, in Kenya today, if you look for a job, employment, there are kids with even PhD. There are kids with masters. There are kids with actually the first degrees. Mr. Speaker, unless you pay certain token, you will not get a job in government offices. And I think those ministries need to be overhauled. We need to tell each other the truth, Mr. Speaker. There is no merit in actually one getting a job. That's why those kids were actually frustrated and annoyed with us leaders. Mr. Speaker, you look at the budget of this country. When you look at the budget, it is brought to the House, both National Assembly and the Senate. We pass those budgets. The 85 that is left at the national level, Mr. Speaker, you don't know how it is spent. You don't know how it is implemented, even the projects that are there. You are either politically correct or not, Mr. Speaker. You are either influential or not. You either have a population or not, Mr. Speaker. Everything is actually looking at the future of politics of this country. Where are we heading as a country? Because if I don't support the government of the day, automatically I will not get development. That is the position in this country, and we need to correct that, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, when the current government leadership or executive came into office, I visited several offices to find out the kind of projects that are going to be implemented in my county. I went to a certain office and I was told the project in this area is complete 100%. And I asked the PS or the cabinet secretary, are you serious when you are saying this project is 100% complete? And I was there the other day. Mr. Speaker, you can imagine a project that is done 40%. What is in a government office is 100% complete. In certain instances, those projects are not even there. So what I'm saying here, Mr. Speaker, is that we need to look at the way we are carrying out ourselves and actually even sharing the national cake. Those who are at the national level, you need to go down and see what is happening or how those projects are being implemented. And again, how those projects are actually benefiting the areas and the communities that are intended to be supported. Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, let me come back to this House. I've been around for a while. I was in the first Senate. I was in the second Senate. But the current happenings, we must call a spade a spade. You can actually bring a statement to this House it takes 6 months for a committee to look at it and give you feedback. Mr. Speaker, you can imagine I'm being confronted even in certain committees. Is it really relevant for you to bring this statement to this committee? When the Speaker on the floor of the House has referred a statement to a committee, I'm being challenged in the committee. A member of committee or secretariat calls my county and tells the governor, what is wrong with your senator? She's always bringing statement to our committee. Mr. Speaker, I think when we correct others, we should also correct ourselves. We should correct ourselves. There is a lot of problem within our committees. Things are not done properly. I can enumerate committees where I have challenges in my counties. Up to now, Mr. Speaker, nobody has responded to those statements. And I don't want to embarrass the committees that I have statements before them. Sometimes you can imagine you are just send the response and nobody bothers how to deal with that particular statement. I wish we could go back to where we started in the first Senate, where responses for those statements are brought back to the House so that everybody can listen and understand those statements and even ask further questions, Mr. Speaker. So, Mr. Speaker, the reason why I am telling this House or ourselves, when we actually point fingers to other individuals or other institutions, we also have challenges here. We must actually correct ourselves. Mr. Speaker, going back to the counties, I have sat in the committees of the House from 2013 up to date. Mr. Speaker, when we are talking of national government, we should also talk about county government. Mr. Speaker, the budget we fight for here, Mr. Speaker, when it goes to the county, nobody wants you to talk about it. Nobody says senators have fought for this budget, so we should listen to them. Nobody understands the role of senators is not to carry out development, but to carry out oversight, Mr. Speaker. And that has to be made clear. Because you will see that you are bashed by governors also and members of parliament. I have brought this road. I have done ABCD. What has Senator done for you? Those are the issues we need to ask ourselves. How are we going to be felt as senators? I've seen people from yesterday's debate bashing Senate. Senate should be scrapped. Those debates we have had. But I think we must make a reality why we exist as a Senate, Mr. Speaker. I sit in Public Accounts Committee where, Mr. Speaker, you will see that all the counties have gone above the 13% ceiling of employment. Every governor comes in, he will recruit 200, 300, 1,000, and nobody is questioning, Mr. Speaker. Development is not taking place, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, for example, my county, 50% of the budget in the last financial year, this actually finished financial year, has not been spent. When you have pending bills in the counties, people are suffering. They have supplied counties. You go to the controller of budget, requisition is made, Mr. Speaker. That requisition comes with the name of Fatuma Dulo. But when it goes to CRF, is another person who is paid. Maybe Senator Kajwang is the one paid. These things are happening, Mr. Speaker. Do you want to challenge me?
Proceed, Senator.
Mr. Speaker, it's happening in the eyes of COB, it is happening in the eyes of Treasury. Nobody is bothering. Those who have supplied, Mr. Speaker, are suffering. Those who are owed pending bills, they are not paid. I remember 2019, there was a decision made by this House to stop actually budget going to the counties until they clear pending bills. And they all rushed, Mr. Speaker, to clear those pending bills. And I think that decision has to be made also, maybe next financial year, so that Kenyans can get their money and also service is delivered to Kenyans. Mr. Speaker,